Hello, everyone. Welcome back once again. I'm Nicodemus Kane. Today is September the 1st of 2022. It is September already. And that means that it's 9/11 meme season. It's 9/11 season, period. Watch out. From here until October the 31st. Actually, it's a little bit after that. It's like November the 5th. I think it's whenever all the week of the dead. It's not just a day of the dead; it's a week of the dead. Because some of them still celebrate. Some of the cultures still celebrate past November the 1st. I think the November the 2nd is. I think it's when they say that that's the day that they go back, and then there's other ones that go a little bit further. It's like 3 days after there's a feast on November 5th. It's a lot. It's a lot. And then, of course, you have all of the numerology coming up. Of course, 9/11 is one of them. 9/23 is coming up. You have 11/3. Well, the 10s, too. 10/02. October the 2nd is always going to be one of those because 102 or 201, that's one that always pops up every now and then. It actually pops up a lot more than you'd think, at least that I've seen. You know, once you start seeing it in the background, you start understanding that, oh, this is a number. This is a number that keeps popping up. 501, so October the 5th. We got that coming up. Now, what else was there? Pretty much anything that you can take the zero out. So you got like October 13th. That's the 11/3. We have November the 3rd coming up as it is. You got October the 19th. That's 119. I know it sounds crazy when you just rattle off numbers. And I've had several people now tell me, oh, numbers don't mean anything. They don't mean nothing. They're just there to just be there. You don't have to worry about the numbers. Well, okay, you may not have to worry about the numbers. I mean, I can get up every day and I can say 2 plus 2 is 4, and it doesn't mean anything to me because you just take 2 things of this, you take 2 things of this, you put them together, you got 4 things of this. Okay, fine, whatever. And some people can't see past that. But when we reference the numbers, we are talking about a group of people that work in the background, that work in secret, that cause harm to everyone else, that use these numbers as stepping stones, as dates, as signifiers as to when certain things need to happen. It is ritualistic. Just because you don't believe in the ritual does not mean the ritual is going on. Or, did I get that right? I think I got that right. Just because you don't believe in it doesn't mean that it's not there. Let's put it that way. I probably said it wrong. Just because you're not paranoid doesn't mean they're not watching you. But just because you don't believe it doesn't mean people aren't using those numbers. All these numbers that we keep seeing in the background constantly. And you see them in the background. And I've told everyone that I can that thinks I'm crazy, that thinks I'm stupid, that doesn't understand. It's like the numbers are in the background of everything you do. Whether you're watching TV, which everybody does, you're watching a movie, which everybody does, you're reading a book. I'm not going to say which everybody does because people don't read books anymore. When you're reading a book, when you are reading comics, I found them in comics so much, not so much in the past. You know, it's one of those weird things is most of all modern television especially if it's done by television and movies. If it's done by a big studio, you're going to see the numbers. Some of these independent things, you don't see it so much, but every now and then it'll pop up. But you constantly see it. There's been a couple shows that we've watched where I've seen it in every single show. And it makes me wonder, when you see it, if you should be paying more special attention to what they're saying so that you can hear what's going on. Maybe they're putting something out there. I don't know. But when you go back in the past and you look at the old TV shows, like we did the Twilight Zone stuff. We haven't done Twilight Zone in a while. It's mostly because we just haven't been watching TV. It's been a while since we've watched any real TV. It's only been the past couple weeks since the kids have gotten out of the house that we've kind of gotten back into it, and we're just kind of fumbling around in the dark trying to find something to watch. But when you go back in the past in movies, you see it. The numbers, they'll keep popping up. They'll keep popping up on doors, or they'll keep popping up on clocks, or they'll keep popping up on whatever. With comic books, because I do read comics, I've said this 100 times. I read comic books. If you don't like it, tough. This is what I do. I have read comic books almost my entire life before I've gone to sleep. They help put me to sleep. That's what I do. I can't really read much anything else. It's just I read my comics, I go to bed. It works. But the modern books, when I was still buying modern books, they were still covered in the numerology, the symbology, the everything. And I stopped reading modern comics because just too many political agendas, too much garbage that I didn't want to listen to it anymore. It was just too much. So I started reading old books. I started buying trades. The Marvel Epic collections are the best things ever made ever. They're amazing. It's like 20, 30 something books in one trade. And you can get them, sometimes you can get them for pretty cheap. Some of them are really expensive, but sometimes you can get them pretty cheap. But you can read all those old stories. So I go back in those old stories, and of course I'm reading it, and I'm looking in the background, and you don't see it very much. And I'm trying to figure out exactly when that stuff started creeping in, because I know it started creeping in somewhere. I mean, every now and then you'll see it. Every now and then you'll see a little scale and compass kind of action going on, or you'll get, one of those catchphrases. You'll see certain things and you're like, there it is, right there. But the numerology is not as prevalent. It's there. I'm not going to lie, it's there. They always talk about 33 this, or 223 that, or yes, I've seen a 223 inside of an Avengers comic book from 1960. I think it was from 67, 66, somewhere around there. So they're, they exist. And then of course you always see the clocks in the background are usually almost always, the same things. It's either 3 o'clock or 6:30 or 9:30 or 6:45 or no, it'd be 5:45 on it, 5:45 or just any variation of the numbers. But it's been weird. You just don't see it. It's not as blatant. Of course, back then in the day, it wasn't as blatant either. You watch those old Twilight Zones, it's not blatant. It's just kind of off in the background. But nowadays, it's like it's always right in your face. They understand that people will think that it's crazy if you say, oh, look, the numbers are out there. It's because they made the movie, was it 23? The one with Jim Carrey? They got a comedian to make a movie about a serious number, about a serious problem. Think about it for a second. It's a joke. They made it into a joke in order to manipulate you into not believing it. They got a comedian in one of his first serious roles to make a movie about the space program. That was Tom Hanks. One of his biggest, most serious roles, Apollo 13. They got a comedian, someone who had done nothing but comedy, nothing but, whatever. Even Forrest Gump I consider a comedy because, he played a serious role, but it was still, Tom Hanks being Tom Hanks. But they got a comedian to come in and make a serious space movie. They're messing with you, man. They're messing with you at this point. This is how they do it, They got a comedian to go play Batman back in the day. And then suddenly they start putting all this imagery of false flags and different events that would be coming up inside of Batman movies. And I bet you there's probably stuff in those old Batman movies that we should probably go watch. There's something to it. They don't do this stuff on accident. They do this stuff on purpose because they are playing with you constantly. They're constantly messing with your head. But this is the season of evil as far as I'm concerned. Even though we have the Feast of Tabernacles and the Feast of Trumpets right dead smack in the middle of it, this is whenever they do their worst evil, so that they can push you away from the truth. This is what it is. So from here until November, just be prepared. Understand that they are pushing their agendas, they are pushing their fears, they are pushing their lies as much as possible. And they don't care about you. They don't want you here. They don't like you. They're raised differently. They're raised to think differently. They're given occult knowledge that you will never have. They are told that you are worthless. You are nothing. You are the slave caste. You were only meant to be here as useless eaters to serve them. That's what they tell themselves. And if you don't believe that, look at the lack of empathy that these people have. They absolutely lack empathy. If they cared as much as they say they cared, they could wipe away homelessness and hunger and starvation and real problems of the world. They could wipe it all away in a week if they really truly cared. But they don't really truly care. They want to go to space. They think space is better for you than your ability to eat. They think trying to think of another one that they're doing. They think forcing you to drive electric cars is worth more than you having a place to live. They think that making sure you have the ability to, trying to word this right, they think that giving you the ability to have all of the sex and make all of the love and all of the debauchery you could ever want and not focus on, well, all of the debauchery and give you the ability to be able to kill babies in the womb. It's the best way I could put it. And destroy those values. They think that's better than trying to tell you how much better it would be for you to be morally sound, to be reasonable, to raise a family, to work for something better in your life. They would rather you have that debauchery and wickedness than to try to make yourself better. And that doesn't even have to come from a religious, God-fearing, moral choice. That just has to come from a morality. They have the ability to teach you better morals, to teach you better understanding of life, to just simply say, don't do this. Don't strive to be, something crazy and insane. Strive to be better. Strive to be something more than just another useless eater. But they don't do that. They want you. They want you in that system. They want you in that system of control. These people don't care about you. That's what it comes down to. They don't want you to be better. They don't want to help you be better. They don't want to do anything for you that can cause you to be as good as them. Because again, they are all related. I've said that before. They are all related, and they are all taught differently. So now that I've gone on that one, this is their season. Not only do they not care about you, but they are ritualistically actively working in the background against your better wishes. And this is their season of evil. This is their pure season of evil. They enjoy this. You get to have a break during the summer. I don't know why. It seems like July and August, everything just kind of dies down, and then it just picks back up. And then it's just like it's ebb and flow through December and January, and then February, March come back around, and it picks up again. It's like, I've said it before, it's you don't do your worst rituals to bring back the sun in the spring. You don't do your killing rituals in spring. You do your killing rituals, your murder rituals, your most evil rituals. You do that when the sun goes away, which is in the fall. And then when the sun comes back, you rejoice. You have all your fertility festivals. You have all your pride festivals. You have all your debauchery. You have all of those. And then sun goes away, and it's all murder, death, kill. So they use it. They do it. To bring it back to the numerology, they use the numerology ritualistically. Just because the numbers don't mean anything to you does not mean they don't mean anything to somebody else. So it's all a ritual. It's all an evil ritual made by evil people that don't give a damn about you whatsoever. And they keep winning because people don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the truth because they're having too much fun living in their own sins. But whatever. Anyways, so today is going to be Isaiah 39. This one's kind of a short one. But I'm sure there's going to be stuff in here. I kind of read through it a little bit. And it is a tale of everything I said pretty much, Don't trust people in charge. Don't trust the people that tell you that they're out for your benefit. Don't trust the people that what's the old saying? Beware, is it beware Greeks bearing gifts? I haven't said that in forever. I think it's what it is. Beware Greeks bearing gifts. It's the old Trojan horse thing. You know. I think it's what it is. It's amazing that most of all the big sayings that have been, I don't know. I don't even know if kids even say this stuff anymore. If they even know what this stuff means. All of these old sayings that we have against certain cultures, against certain nationalities, like the stuff against the Greeks, the stuff against the Romans, stuff against certain other people. When we say these things, and we say, don't trust, whoever, certain culture, nationality, don't trust them. It's amazing they've held on for this long. It's a tale of, don't trust Greeks because they could be giving you something that hurts you. All roads lead to Rome, which means that everything is a Roman problem. It doesn't mean that, well, it could also mean that, Rome in its entirety exists everywhere, which is still the case. We see Roman culture and influence still, but all roads lead to Rome, I have always taken as, everything is the cause or the faults of the Romans. There are other sayings I can't say because YouTube will pop me, but there are other certain classes of people that have bad things about them that have somehow made it through, and nobody ever questions. Everybody always says, "Oh, well, that's so mean and cruel, and we need to all be inclusive and not say anything bad about anybody." But it's like, have you ever asked yourself the question why they say this stuff? Maybe you should ask why we've said it more than telling us not to. These are warnings handed down through generations upon generations, and you're not going to heed the warning? Whatever. But this is just another one of those. This is another one of those where it's like, well, if you don't heed the warnings, if you don't know that you're not supposed to trust evil men of this world that have lied to you before, which is another thing too. Everybody's always about forgiveness. And yes, forgiveness is a thing, but we're talking about like, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you. One of those types of things. It's like, how many more times do they have to lie to you? Flat out, 100% lie to you before you start saying no more. For some people, apparently it's a lot. For some people, apparently they can, as soon as one lie is done and another lie pops up, they're like, oh, it's okay. This time he says it'll be better. It's like, come on, man. I'm not even talking about like false flags and stuff. I'm talking about just like, not raising taxes or doing certain things whenever you get into office, or, cleaning swamps. Yeah, right. If they lie to you constantly over and over and over and over and over again, no matter how much they say, oh, well, just a little bit longer, no matter what. Perfect example would be NASA. We're going to go back to moon. 50-something years later. Just wait a little bit longer. We'll get there. Give me a break. Give me a break. You fall for it every time. But this is that one. This is one of those tales. This is Isaiah 39. This is one of those tales of don't trust people. Don't. My rule is rule number one: don't trust anybody. They have to prove it. They have to prove all things. So just keep that in mind. So Isaiah 39. And I will mess up some of these names. I can guarantee you this much because it's right off the bat. There's one. All right. So this is after. Where are we at here? This was after the king of Assyria was sent away, and Hezekiah got sick. Just so we know. Hezekiah got sick and he went and he prayed to the Lord. And he was praying, and it was I'm trying to find but he was praying to God, and he was saying, heal me, save me. For it's I'm trying to find, where was it at? The living shall praise thee. So it was. He was talking about save me, Father, because on my own I can't do any good. Only the living can praise you. Only the death cannot celebrate thee. And that the Lord will be saving me, and we will rejoice in the Lord. We will sing his praises, the whole thing. Basically asking God, I am sick unto death. Please help me. I will rejoice in thee. I will, sing your songs, sing your praises. Help me, Father, please. And it was at the end of it, he asked, what is the sign that I shall go up to the house of the Lord? That was the last thing he said. So this is, after he went in and he prayed, and he's sick. He is sick to dying. He is going to die. But this is also whenever God said, I'm going to give you more years. I'm going to give you, what did it say? I will add to thy days 15 more years, and I will deliver your hand out of the king of Assyria, and I will defend the city. And then this is whenever he pulled the sun back degrees. I don't know why I couldn't find this before. Man, I was struggling. I couldn't find it before. And then suddenly it was there. So this was after all of that. He was also recovered of his sickness. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. I don't remember that. It's been 2 days. We've actually done a lot within the past 2 days. Of course, yesterday I went on a whole thing about Little Egypt. But then we spent most of the night last night after work putting together a place to stay, putting together accommodations. We got we found a little B&B that we're going to stay for 4 days, and because we're still doing this Little Egypt thing. But we found a little B&B that we're going to stop at, and we rented it for 4 days. Pretty cheap too. It's like $250 for 4 nights. That's not bad, especially for what we got. A little side room with its own bathroom. It's awesome. I kept telling her, I was like, I don't want to share a bathroom. No, I really don't want to share a bathroom. We found an apartment complex that was super cheap. It's like, oh, look, it's an apartment. You know, it's got a room, it's got a kitchen, it's got all this other kind of stuff. But it had a communal bathroom. And we're like, oh, no, I can't do that. Anyways. But yes, I forgot a lot about the last chapter. I should probably read over the last chapter again, just by myself, just to pull myself back in. You should do that right now too. You can always pause the video. But anyways, this is after all this, and apparently this is after he was recovered of his sickness, and after God told him he could have more time. So chapter 39. At that time, Merodach Baladin, I think that's how you do it, Merodach Baladin, the son of Baladin, king of Babylon, sent letters and a present to Hezekiah, for he had heard that he had been sick and was recovered. And Hezekiah was glad of them, and showed them the house. Let's try that one again. And Hezekiah was glad of them, and showed them the house of his precious things, the silver and the gold, and the spices, and the precious ointment, and all the house of his armor, and all that was found in his treasures. There was nothing in his house, nor in all his dominion, that Hezekiah showed them not. All right, first things first. Merodach Baladin. Okay, let's see. Let's try Baladin first. Bel is his lord. Bel, which is, let's see if I can look that up. Let's try Bel God. It is basically Baal. Marduk, better known as Bel, a name derived from the Semitic word Baal. There you go. It's Baal. Let me see if I can find a... Sure enough, it's a bearded angel. That's exactly what it is. It is, it's one of those, the guys that are, they've got the arms up, with the wings in the back. It's the old Babylonian, Assyrian. Oh, look, there's one where he's with the person of pine cones, It's probably going to be one of these where he's standing right beside Nisroch. Because they're all the same. They're all absolutely the same. What is that? Oh my. Oh my indeed. Is that, they call it Tiamat. Tiamat. Ooh. Alright, we're going to do we're going to do a little bit of symbology here. This is how you know. Let me go ahead and open the other one up. What was the name? Piazza. The Piazza bird. Let's see if I can find a good one, because yes it is. Yes it is. It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. So here we go, kids. I'm trying to find a good picture of this so I can show you. So I was talking about the Piazza bird. Was I talking about that yesterday? I think I might have been talking about it yesterday. So this Piazza bird thing, it's this weird, like, scaly dragon monster. So let's do this. Let's pull you in here, because we love to do this stuff. I love to show you guys how this stuff is all connected. So we're going to go see this probably on Saturday, I hope. But they have a mural of this thing in Illinois, which is not the original. The original they said is actually 20 miles to the north, I think it's what they said. And it wasn't nearly like this. This is a recreation. But see, it's up here and they got Native Americans over here dancing to the damn thing. Let me see. I don't know if they actually have this is kind of closer to what they had. I don't know if you guys can see that. This is kind of a closer picture of what they said it was, but this recreation that they have, they say, is what, they thought they wanted to put on the side of this wall. This is the mural that they did. And they have to update this because the clay keeps rejecting the paint. I think that's hilarious, is that they have to keep building this thing up. So anyways, I didn't look at the legend of it. I was just looking at what this thing was. So this is something they found in North America. And this is old. This is a couple thousand years. I don't remember exactly what they said. This has been there for a hot minute. I don't think this is the Thunderbird so much. This is the Piazza bird. This is something else. So we're talking about Bel. This, what did it say? Baladin, which is, Bel is his lord. So Bel is another word for Baal, Marduk. And Marduk, over in Iraq of all places, sun god of Babylon, with his thunderbolts pursues Tiamat after the latter stole something. I don't know what. I'm not going to go into it any further. So anyways, Tiamat here, this looks exactly like a thunderbird. So he's got the horns, he's got the teeth, he's got the horns, he's got the teeth, he's got the scales on his body, he's got the kind of chicken feet. The only thing he doesn't have is the big long, tail, but he's got the wings. And of course, this guy, again, this is Marduk. This is Baal. This is one of those bearded Babylonian angel guys that walk around. Let me see if I can find one where he's holding the pine cone. Which there's other places said that these are other things. I think it was up. That's what it was. So what is this? Chaldean account of Genesis. What? Yeah, but that picture, that's Marduk. That is the Piazza bird. It's got scales. It's got the tail. Well, it doesn't have the feet, though. Where was it at? I know I saw it. There was one that I passed where he was holding the pine cone, and I don't remember where the heck it was. Was it up? I think it was up. This is what they showed me first. This guy right here. They were saying is Marduk, Babylonian god. The imagery is there. You've got the stars and you've got the. I'm gonna say that this is the Piazza bird whenever he tamed it. Whatever that creature was, he tamed it and he had it living beside him. Who was the leader of the gods in Babylon? There you go. It's one of these guys holding the purse with the thing. It's the same imagery you see everywhere, over and over and over. Marduk, Bel the youngest, eldest son, and heir to Enki, Mesopotamian. And yet it's the same thing we see over and over again. There's this guy. And we've seen this in all kinds of different cultures. We've seen the same thing over and over and over again. The winged genie. This is Tiamat. A winged genie with a sacrifice to do from a. No, this isn't it. This is probably whenever they said that Marduk slew the Tiamat. It's probably what that is. Look what we got here. We got a fish god. You got this fish god and this guy. He's holding the eagle's wings. There's something to it. This is why we're going out and we're doing all this stuff, because all of this stuff connects. There's the eagle god creature thing that we've seen that is the same thing. What do we call it? Nisroch. This guy, Nisroch. The eagle guy. You see this kind of imagery in Native American beliefs. So somewhere along the line, the Assyrians that brought all this stuff with them became Native Americans. Somehow they brought all this stuff with them. It's either that or the Native Americans brought it to Assyria. I don't know. It's one or the other. It's either that or the Assyrians are Native Americans. I don't know. I don't know. But all these people believed in the same things. They were all connected. There was some kind of memory hole that we have fallen into to where we cannot understand why all of these different cultures hold all these different beliefs, but history, the people, the quote unquote scientists, archaeologists, will tell you that no one ever cross-contaminated any cultures because everyone grew up right where they were supposed to have grown up. No one ever left anywhere. No one ever sailed across the sea. No one ever walked anywhere. Is that they were all in one place and they were all nice and happy. And they even say that when the Native Americans, the Eskimos and everybody else, when they came over a land bridge, supposedly from Siberia and Russia, when they came over a land bridge, those were Asian. Those people were Asian. They were not Assyrian. They were not from the Middle East. You have a culture that was in the Middle East, that was dead smack in the continents of Africa, Europe, and Asia, that somehow brought their beliefs with them to a country that they weren't supposed to have ever had any contact with. And yet, sure enough, we see it over and over and over again. But scientists, archaeologists, historians, they will not change their story. I have never heard them change their story, ever. And if they do say it, they'll claim, oh, well, it was probably something that they had heard and they brought over, and then the Indians, they just kind of, no. It's the same thing with flood myths. They don't want to ever tell you that everybody has the exact same flood myths, but they don't want to tell you that. They just want to tell you, these people, they were all isolated, grew up by themselves, had their own gods, made up their own things, and yet we see this over and over and over again, but nobody wants to pay attention to it. Nobody wants to acknowledge it. But this stuff is here. It's constantly here. And every single bit of it kind of tracks together with something else. You got Dagon, Nisroch, and Marduk. Dagon, Nisroch, and Marduk. The three big gods of the old world, which coincidentally line up pretty well with the three city-states, the three big, city-states, the places, the Vatican, the DC, and London, where the place of religion, the place of money, and the place of power. These all kind of line up together. You've got Dagon wearing the headdress of the papacy. You have the winged god Nisroch, the eagle, the bald eagle being the image of the bird of America. And you have Marduk, the bearded, very European-looking man who resided in Europe. And I bet you if you dig down into these histories, you will probably find that one of them dealt in religion, one of them dealt in money, and one of them probably dealt in power. I bet you. I'm not going to go digging right now because we're going to keep going, but I'm just saying that there are connections here. These are big connections. These are big connections. These aren't just like little, oh hey, whatever connections. No, these are the kind of connections where you've got to, ask the serious questions of, wait, what the heck's going on here, Anyways, let's get back to the reading. But that's what this is. This is Baladan. This is the king of Babylon, and his son is, what was his name again? Let me go back to the Merodach Baladan, which is Marduk has given a son, king of Babylon in the days of King Hezekiah of Judah. So he was the son of Baladan. All right, so he's the king. That's what it says, the son of Baladan, king of Babylon. He sent letters and a present to Hezekiah saying, hey, I heard you're sick. I'm sorry. I hope you feel better. I'm glad that you're recovered. And Hezekiah was so glad at that. He said, oh, these people love me so much. I'm going to bring them in and I'm going to show them every single bit of everything that we have. All the treasures, all the artifacts, everything that we have in a castle. Hey, man, come on in. You're trying to be nice to me. Here, come on in. Let me show you every single secret of everything that we ever have ever. It's just like the biggest joke in the world. Don't trust people. Don't trust people from Babylon. You've only had this. You've only had the name of Babylon sitting in the back of your head for the past who knows how long, where you have been warned, don't trust these people, and yet you're going to bring them in and show them everything. So anyways, verse 3, then came Isaiah the prophet unto King Hezekiah, and said unto him, what said these men? And from whence came they unto thee? And Hezekiah said, they are come from a far country unto me, even from Babylon. And that's whenever Isaiah should have stopped and said, Babylon. Really? Then said he, what have they seen? This is Hezekiah, or not, this is Isaiah. Then said he, what have they seen in thine house? And Hezekiah answered, all that is in mine house have they seen. There is nothing among my treasures that I have not shown them. It's like saying my cousin Joe just got out of prison for robbing a bank. I'm going to bring him over to the house and I'm going to show him where all my guns are. Oh man. By the way, don't ever show all your guns. I see people posting them on the internet. I see people posting them on social media. I see people telling others what they have. Don't ever tell people what you have, man. Come on. That is such a joke. Don't ever let them know what you've got. And if you show them something, make sure that you have two in the background that they don't know about. Then said Isaiah to Hezekiah, hear the words of the Lord of hosts. Behold, the days come that all that is in thine house, and that which thy fathers have laid up in store, unto this day shall be carried to Babylon. Nothing shall be left, saith the Lord. And of thy sons that shall issue from thee, which thou shalt beget, shall they take away, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. Then said Hezekiah to Isaiah, good is the word of the Lord which thou hast spoken. He said, moreover, for there shall be peace and truth in my days. So we're going to go back a little bit here. What's this 1 Samuel? Let's see if I can, because there's a connector to Samuel here, and I just wanted to see what the 3:18. I'm sure this means nothing though, because we're way back in the back. 3:18. Is that what I said? Let him do what seemeth good. All right. So remember, the Lord told Hezekiah, "Look, I'm going to give you 15 years. Everything you do is going to be good." But then the Lord's telling him, there's going to be a day where everything you have is going to be taken away. It's going to be taken away. It's going to be wiped out. Your sons are going to be turned into eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. And Hezekiah said, "Good is the word of the Lord. There shall be peace and truth in my days. Now for everything else, there might not be." Now this is another one of those warnings where it's like, Hezekiah could have stopped and he could have told the people, "Hey, God has told us that he's going to come and take all this stuff away. There's got to be a reason for it. If the reason is because he gave me my 15 years, then this is on me. That's fine. Whatever. If this is because you are going to fall somewhere in the future, maybe you shouldn't be doing that." This is that opportunity to say, "Hey, we just got a warning." But of course, God's word is God's word. If God says he's going to do it, he's going to do it. It can be turned back. We learned that with Jonah. So this is the warning. People have given us the warning for years. If you don't turn back, God is going to yada yada yada. So maybe now, when everything is falling apart here in the real world, you should start listening. You should maybe start listening and start, pushing to get back to the Father. I don't know. I'm just saying. So anyways, Hezekiah heard it and he said, "Well, you know what? It's going to happen. He chose to save my life and I have devoted my life to him. So he's going to take it. That's fine. But for the time that I am alive, I am going to praise the Father, because that's what I said." But don't bring evil into your house and show them the fine china. You don't do that. You don't do that. I read that whenever I got in and I got sat down, and I read that and I said, "He did what?" These are the people of Babylon. These people worship evil gods, and you're going to let them into your house and you're going to show them everything? That's nuts. But that's exactly what he did. It's like it's exactly like it is now, where everybody's starting to bring cameras into the house constantly. And I even said that there's going to be a push to put cameras into households. It's just part of the agenda, because they could very easily make a law that says that you have to wear a mask everywhere. This was something I was saying. They could very easily say it, and so many people would agree with it that it would go through. But they could say you have to wear one in your house. Now, how would you police that? You can't police that. What happens in your house is what happens in your house. So there are already people that are talking about, cameras inside of televisions. I don't know if it's true or not. I believe it. I know there's a camera in your phone. Camera in your phone can record 24/7. Some people have said that the newer phones have two cameras. They have the cameras that which is the ones that you film with, and then there's another camera hidden inside the screen. A lot of people have said that there are cameras hidden inside of every screen. I don't know if it's true again. I don't know if it's true, but it's just something that, the new cameras, they pulled it apart and they found this place on the screen that didn't look right. There was no camera in it, but they said, look, there's space for one here. So I don't know what to believe, man. Then there's the other guys that will film their phone with infrared, and they can see the light blinking in the background. I don't know what that is either. It may not even be what that is, but there have been people that have said there are cameras and everything, even the TVs, especially the smart TVs. Um, because they've talked about the TV recognizing you when you come into the room so that it could turn on. When the TV will know when you sit down, it'll be a feature. One of those features. Oh, look, the master of the house is sitting down so he can watch TV. Let me go ahead and turn myself on so that, just to relieve the burden of having to hit the button on a remote. Oh, it's so hard. These modern conveniences. Oh, it's so hard. But you've got these Alexas now. You've got this, the Google things, whatever the hell they're called, and all this other kind of stuff that are constantly tracking you, listening to every single word you say. And if you don't believe that, then you are fooled. I'm sorry. They listen to every single word you say, just waiting for you to say the right thing in order to be turned on. People don't believe that. People are like, nah, it's not real. It's not true. They don't track every single word you say. Yes, they listen to every single word you say, waiting for you to say the right thing. And then people wonder why their batteries are going dead so much. It's because it's constantly listening to you. I know that my devices are constantly listening to me, and I don't care. I will say whatever the hell I want to. If they want to send somebody to the door, then we'll have words. But everything you do is tracked now. But they want to have cameras. They want you to know is what it is. They don't want to be secret anymore. They want you to know that there's something, tracking you. I don't know if the cameras in the lights, and the light poles are true or not. I'm sure they are. But they want to get it in the house. They want to see everything you do in the house. The big brother wants to watch everything. And I said, there will be a push to put cameras in the houses in order to see what you're doing, to make sure you're following the rules, make sure you're doing the right things, because they want to know. They want to know all your secrets, every single secret you got. They want to know every single secret you got there. They want to know every single thing that you buy and sell. They want to know everything that you own and don't own. They want to see your fine china. They want to make sure that they know that if you have something that they either want, need, or desire, they can come get it from you at any second. And they want to be able to do that with the least resistance possible. The best way to do that is to come into your house and find out. So, don't let the people of Babylon in your treasury, don't show them the fine china. Don't show them all the good stuff. Don't show them your guns. Because one of these days, whether God says that you are going to be run over by these people or not, don't give them the satisfaction of knowing. Don't ever give them the satisfaction of knowing. Don't bring a camera into your house if you can avoid it. Whenever you're walking around the house, don't carry your phone. If you're going to have a really deep conversation with a loved one, go somewhere where there's not a phone or a TV. Don't take the chance. Don't give the king of Babylon enough information that whenever he comes back, he can take you over and take everything with him. Don't do it. That's another one of those pray to God moments too. That if God tells you that it's going to happen, then it's going to happen. But if it's before that time, and if God has never said that it's not going to happen, then don't give it to them. Don't let your cops in the house. That was a rule I just found out. Don't ever let a cop in your house. Because as soon as a cop is in the house, he can do whatever the hell he wants. It's like inviting a vampire into the house. You know, the old tales are that a vampire cannot hurt you in your own house unless you invite them in. And then you are powerless. It's the same thing with government. It's the same thing with police. It's the same thing with everything. If you invite them in, you are powerless and you are subject to whatever they do to you. So don't do it. Don't invite these people in. Just don't trust them, period. Okay, that was a yawn. Wow. Whew. All right. So anyways, that's that. Man, this whole Marduk Nisroch and what was the other one, Dagon thing? There's something to look into there. There's definitely something to look into there. Something to the divine triad of Assyrian gods. Oh, man. Makes you think, though, doesn't it? Doesn't it make you think? One to rule the land, one to rule the air, one to rule the sea. Makes you think. And it still doesn't take away from what we know in the Bible. Because the devil knew the story from the beginning, just like everybody else. And if they knew the story from the beginning, then they could have easily manipulated it and tricked everyone into following a false teaching. So yes, there is a trinity of Assyrian gods. Baal, Shamin, Aglibol, and Malekbel. Baal, Shamin. That's Baal, Shamin. Malekbel. Sounds like Marduk Bell. They're probably all mixed up. Again, the names are different. Messenger of Baal. Angel of the Lord. Greek identified Malekbel with Hermes and the Romans with Sol. He's also similar to the Babylon sun god Shamash, usually accompanied by the moon god Aglibol. Aglibol, which is very similar to Ashtaroth. I know a lot of people say, but it's not the same word. Yeah, it's pretty close. If you don't understand how they've changed these names to fit what they need, if you don't know how the game of telephone actually works, then you will never know how they have lied and tricked you for years. Oh, there's Astarte, which is Ashtaroth, the goddess Ashtaroth. Astarte. But it doesn't go any further than this. Ishtar, Astarte, Easter. I'm just saying, man. It's been here for years. People just cannot get off of their pride and just listen to it for once. Just listen to what it's saying. Listen to what's going on here. Who are the other two? See, now this is whatever website this is talking about this. It's like a blog, but it only talks about Astarte, and it only talks about this Malik Bell. It doesn't talk about the other two. Anyways, there's again connections going on here, crazy connections going on here that I'll tell you what, it's when you start putting this stuff together, it starts getting a little crazy. It's a god from Palmer. This is Aglabol. Aglabol. He is a moon god associated with the sun god Melek Bel, part of the Trinity beside Bel and Yarhabol. Well, this is Bel, see? Bel, which we just learned is Modoc, or Modoc. Modoc, there you go. Marduk. Modoc. Modoc from Marvel. Which is probably, I mean, Marvel names, DC names too. They all line up. Who was he? This title signifying Lord or Master applies to various gods in Mesopotamian, Assyrian, and Babylonian. Yes. Bel is represented as Bel is a balloon, especially used for Babylonian god Marduk and Assyrian. Okay. Well, this one has 4. Bel of Palmyra, Syria, depicted on the far left, alongside Baal Shamin, Yarhabul, and Arbagal in a relief. So these are the 4 gods. This is 4 gods going on here. Interesting, this relief that they got going on is, there's one of those winged creatures. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna pull you guys into this. We're learning stuff, man. This is how you learn stuff. Put together the pieces. So this is what they said. This is Bel, Arbagal, whatever. This is the 3. That's the 3 Trinity, but this is the Lord, the high one. That's what it is. So you've got an ox right here, bull right here. These were giants, and then over here in the corner, you've got one of these winged, weirdy, 4-legged creatures with the long tails. Let me look at this long tail. I bet you that's one of our little buddies. And I bet you this is the equivalent of what's the one we were talking about? Well, it's Bel. Bel was the one that fought these. I wonder if maybe they got these backwards. I don't know. That's weird. It's interesting that these are twins. We see this in the other places too. These look like twins. I mean, this guy is definitely different than these 2 guys, but these 2 guys look exactly alike. And this is a world of twinning. That's why their names are probably so similar. Arbagal and what was the other guy's name? Oh, come on now. Let me go back to this one. Yarhabul and Aglabol. Those are names of twins. I'm going to say that's probably Baal Shamin, and that's, I bet you those 2. I bet you they got them backwards. Bel and the dragon. There was a dragon? I don't think it was a dragon. You know what I think it was? I think it was this thing. That looks like a dragon, sure, but that's a Piasa bird. It's not the Thunderbird. It could be the Thunderbird, but I don't think so, man. I don't know. There's things to this, guys. There's all kinds of stuff to this. There's connections beyond connections beyond connections, And the world as we know it does not want you to make these connections. They will tell you all of this stuff. Again, all of these people that were in all these places were separated by water that they were too scared to cross, and that they all isolated in their individual places. And yet everyone around the world shares almost the exact same stories. So what does it all mean? This is why we're going out this weekend. This is why we're trying to find this stuff out. I'm trying to find the connections. I'm trying to find the meaning to it all. You know, I mean, I don't have to find the connections to it, but you know, there's something going on in this world, and I still think that part of it could be that if the people knew the truth, that if they knew, oh, hey, you know, just because your teacher says this, or your professor says this, or, you know, your book learning has said that this is like this, then explain this. Explain why these people are like that. If you can break through those lies, some way, shape, or form, then maybe people can start hearing the truth. I don't know. I'm approaching it by the way that I was pulled into the truth, is that this doesn't make sense, and there was somebody there that showed it to me, that they could say, look, we are told this, and if what we are told doesn't match up with what we see in the real world, then what we're told is wrong. And if they refuse to change what they tell us because this doesn't look right, or if they flat out lie to you and say you don't have to look into this because it's not, you know, because we already have it, the science is settled, there you go. If they tell you that, but you still see something wrong with it, then they are lying to you. And if they are lying to you about one thing, what makes you think that they're not lying to you about everything? And if I got woke up like that, maybe somebody else can wake up. I figure that's the reason I'm into it so much. I'm just trying to find the truth. I'm trying to find the connection. I'm trying to find what it is that I could say to somebody else to wake them up out of this. Because there's just so many people that are just so asleep. They're so asleep. They're so lost. And it hurts me to see it. It hurts me to hear these people, you know? To know that they're not waking up. So, there's that. I'm going to stop now, though. I'm at that point to where I'm just kind of, you know, wore myself out. Thank you guys for coming around and listening. God bless everyone. You take care of yourselves. Sadly, this is the true season of evil, so we have to be prepared. Pray for the full armor of God. Pray that He will show you truth and wisdom in everything, and pray that you can wake others up so that they don't have to fall into the pit. All right. So I shall see you guys later. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to record tomorrow, because we're probably going to be waking up early. I don't know how early, but we're probably going to be waking up early and hopping in a car so that we can get the day started, because tomorrow we have to drive out there, and we're going to see the smaller mound stuff tomorrow. And then Saturday it's going to be Cahokia. And then Sunday it's going to be the new place, the Garden of the Gods. The Garden of the Gods is a big, huge place. So we're going to be checking that out on Sunday. And then Monday we'll be coming home. But we said there's 14 places. There's actually only 13 places. Probably going to be more stuff that we find. But 13 different places that we're going to stop at and see what's up. And then come home on Monday. So we got a full weekend, man. We got a full weekend, and we got a place where we can charge the batteries. I may or may not, like I said, upload stuff as we go. You know, I might upload the videos as we go. But definitely next week, I will try to get all of this stuff together. You know, we might just take a couple days just to look over pictures. Who knows? But we'll see what's up. I'm going to try to take as much as possible. So, in the meantime, you all take care of yourselves, and we'll see you then.